It is Wednesday night, January 19th, 2022. Tanner Lee and Evan Webb in the house, ready to recap let's just call it what it was, a Big Ten classic between Purdue and Illinois, and preview tomorrow night's game down at Mackey Assembly Hall. Webby, how we doing about 24 hours prior to tomorrow's rivalry game?
I'm not doing well, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Come on, man.
I don't know. I'm always like this though before this game, especially down there. I'm a little different when the game's at Mackey.
It is my least favorite sporting event to watch.
Yeah.
And
just given
because
my living situation and the girl I love so much being a grad of that university down there, it doesn't make it's kind of like a lose-lose for me. I mean, it's not really, but it feels like it because if Purdue wins, obviously it's great. But she's probably pissed at me because I'm probably being an ass during the game and cheering. And if IU wins, then that's a huge lose or a huge loss for me. So it's usually it's like, thankfully she has to work early on Friday, so she'll have to go to bed right after the game tomorrow. So if Purdue does win, she'll go off in a huff, and I'll just be able to sit in the living room and just pump my fist really silently. So that's what I'm hoping for. So
that's fair enough. I can't say I know what that experience is like. So, I'm I'm nervous about tomorrow's game. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't, but I'm also excited about it and confident at the same time. If you can be excited, nervous, and confident about something, that's what I am about tomorrow night's game.
I'm trying to decide, is it better that we won on Monday for this game? Because I'm like, on one hand, yes, it was a hostile environment, probably very similar to what we're going to see, what the guys are going to see tomorrow night in Assembly Hall. It was a tough game. Obviously, a great team that we played against Illinois with another dominant big. So it's like, hey, they've just been through this. It's nothing that they can't handle when they go down there. But also, are they, just because it was such a good game, such a huge win for the team, especially the fact that we've dropped 2 early Big Ten games already. Right. Are they a little overconfident? And you throw in the fact that we've won, 9 straight against Indiana and 5 straight down in Bloomington. Are they a little? Which you would think Painter, being a Purdue guy, I think he probably got their attention. And the fact that, we have already dropped a few games. It's not like we're undefeated, riding high right now. We can't afford really to lose too many more Big Ten games. Then you saw, just even last night, top 10 team in Duke went on the road against Florida State and dropped a game. So it could happen. There's definitely kind of a year where there's no, dominant team in the college basketball. I feel like really anybody can beat anybody. We've already seen Indiana beat top 20 team in Ohio State after their COVID pause, which I don't think Ohio State was the same team that, what they were before the COVID pause, but still, IU dominated them. They took EJ Liddell completely out of the game and beat them by double digits, and just hope to God it doesn't happen to us tomorrow.
We've won 9 straight in the rivalry, 12 of the last 13. Mm-hmm. But like you said, I think we're the better team.
Oh, yeah.
I think we'd win more times than not. Mm-hmm. But it's the game of college basketball, and you got to bring in every night. Like you were saying, Florida State upsets Duke. We saw Baylor drop 2 last week. Mm-hmm. We saw USC drop 2 last week. Any given night, somebody can beat the opponent, and they're going to come out fired up. Oh, yeah. They're going to give us their best punch.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of the things where it's like the streak's got to end at some point. I hope it does. I hope we can push it off another year to next year when we've lost, 2 guys, a couple guys to graduation, a couple guys to probably the NBA and everything. But I hope it doesn't happen because they've got it's kind of a storybook telling you they got new coach who's a night guy and all that crap goes into it. They're riding high, but still a lot of Archie's players. Hopefully there's a lot of Archie Miller that shows up tomorrow.
Oh yeah, and I think I've seen. This team, they are better than they have been, especially on defense, but they still at times do show remnants of Archie Miller. So hopefully it shows up tomorrow night. Yeah. And Trace Jackson Davis, their best player, is not going to be 100%. He'll play, but he won't be 100%.
Yeah. And, the narrative will be how much he's gutting it out and how much of a fighter he is and all that crap.
I hope Trey or Edie kind of gives him a nice old-fashioned corn dog right there.
Knock him on his butt.
See how he's feeling a little bit. Give him a knee right there. See how sore it is. But we'll talk more in detail about the game here in a couple minutes. But let's talk about Monday's game. Purdue went over to Champaign for a rare Monday noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time game on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And, came out with a 96-88 double overtime victory.
Yeah, it was, as you said at the top, it was a classic.
It was.
Two, and our group of friends that we're close with, we've got one buddy who's a huge diehard Illinois fan, and he even said it after the game, is this game proved that who the two best teams are in the Big Ten, and I can't say I disagree with him. I don't really think there's that much difference between the two teams. I mean, as you saw, it took 2 overtimes. I still think, I think Purdue's better than Illinois. They've got more pieces, I think, even though Plummer that guy couldn't miss, it felt like at times.
He or Frazier, I felt like neither one could miss.
I mean, thank God we took Kofi out of the game, which is obviously kind of the game plan with a guy like him. I mean, it's not very often or ever you see a guy like Zach Edey try to back down a guy and not move because he's just so big. But it was just two heavyweights going at it, and I mean it was a fun game, stressful game.
Oh my God, roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, I watched the game from our sponsor and partner Mad Mushroom on campus of Purdue. I find myself there for work, so I was like, hey, why not? I'll watch the game there, and I was the only person in there for most of the day. Some people came in and out, and I apologize to the Mad Mushroom staff if I scared anybody away because I was trying to keep my composure, but it was a hell of a game to watch.
Did you order $20 worth of food?
I did not. No. If I did, I probably wouldn't have been able to. That would have rolled me out of there.
Well, you could have got $5 off with discount.
I know.
Or just say, don't tell them the boiler breakdown. So just say, I am part of the boiler breakdown.
I am the boiler breakdown.
I am the boiler breakdown. Good stuff. We'll talk about them in a little bit too. Yeah. But yeah, the fun game Monday. Like you said, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. A roller coaster of emotions. Cost Gabe Kofi Coburn probably his worst career performance.
And especially against a team that has really, aside from Rutgers, I hate saying that, but they've had our number. Kofi's 3-0 against Purdue. This is a team that a couple years ago we put up like only 37 points at Champaign. Like just absolutely got embarrassed at. They came to Mackey and beat us. Beat us and literally stepped on us. Who was it? Stepped on Sasha. I forgot the player. Was it Griffin? No.
Yep, Griffin.
Griffin. So it's kind of those teams that we had been beaten or had been beating prior to Brad Underwood, but then he kind of asserted his dominance over, and it's one of those teams that if we wanted to assert our dominance in the Big Ten, there's a team we had to beat. We've, like I said, struggled against them, and they didn't go down easily. That's for sure.
No,
they Andre Curbelo come back, which of course he was going to come back for that game.
I knew it. I just knew it.
Although after he only played like 6 minutes in the first half. I was like, okay, maybe he's just not going to play a whole lot. And then he came in the second half and started doing what he does. And
he was a stud.
Huge. Oh yeah,
no turnovers, 20+ points.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a great effort by him. But our seniors stepped up when they needed. I mean, Travion Williams did not have one of his better outings, but Eric Hunter Jr. had his best game of the year, and Sasha had one of his best games of his career, in my opinion.
Yeah, and a lot of it came in the second half too.
Well, those guys were huge. Edey, he had a great game. Like you said, he figured out he couldn't back Kofi down, so I'm going to use my wingspan, my length, and get around him that way.
Yeah, usually what you find, Edey is like 6 feet from the basket, but this time he was finding himself, only on the elbow or, close to, and had to, use that massive wingspan. Would still get to the rim somehow, just because he's just so big. But, yeah, it was awesome to see because it just shows that, hey, even if he's not right next to the basket, he has the potential. Just using and just so much more athletic than a guy like Isaac Haas was. Where if Isaac was 10 feet from the basket, it probably wasn't going to end very well, or he was going to pass out. But Edey showed he can finish at the rim still.
Jaden Ivey, speaking of finishing at the rim, he was kind of cold from the field, but he got the free throw line a lot. Made more than he missed, which is good. Purdue did miss a couple free throws. I think they missed 6 free throws.
Yeah, they were 26 of 32.
And Sasha missed, 2 or 3 of those?
He missed 4. He was 5 of 9.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, wow. Edey was 2 of 2. Ivy was 13 of 15. And then Travion and Eric combined 6 for 6.
Yeah, which Eric's, a lot of his were down the stretch, which was huge.
So they're huge, especially because he hasn't really shot a whole lot of free throws this year because he hasn't been in that situation. Sasha was a little disappointing because one of those was in regulation. I think his was the end of regulation, right? Because I think then Ivy had one. No, Ivy's was in regulation. I think Sasha's was overtime.
Yeah, if we hit a free throw in regulation, towards the end we probably win the game in regulation, and because Illinois made that 7-point deficit with about a minute 58 left. Credit to them, but yeah, I thought everybody played pretty well. Caleb First he only played 3 minutes, didn't play in the second half. Ethan Morton didn't get a ton of run. Isaiah Thompson might have lost his starting spot. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow night. Do you think they make a lineup switch with Hunter?
It's a good question. I mean, I need to look up Indiana's because that is my one worry is Indiana's got some bigger guards, and so that gives me a little bit of worry just from both an offensive and defensive standpoint. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's kind of stuck through this slump he's had, but I mean, Eric might have done enough in this game to reassert himself back in that lineup, which
Mhm.
he's so accustomed to. But um, yeah, I think Eric does start tomorrow. I think we do. I think like I said, E's going to start. I think that we'll keep the same lineup, but I think Eric will start, and I think we see a lot more first tomorrow just because of the personnel Indiana has. Because it's gonna be interesting because they've got Race Thompson and Trace Jackson Davis, who are both really good bigs, but they're not your typical I guess big. Like they're much more athletic. Race can shoot the three. Trace is if he goes left, he's going to finish more often than not, and he's really good around the rim. But I think especially having, I think a guy like Gillis obviously is good, but I think maybe first with his length and athleticism might be a little bit better, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I think we'll play 10 guys.
Oh yeah,
I think
we saw Newman come off the bench, and he was great. I mean, he even played some minutes down the stretch, which we hadn't seen the last couple of games. So I think that just shows that I think he's really putting an effort on the defensive end. I thought he had some nice possessions there. Hit a three coming off the bench. I think we'll see. I think a lot more of Morton tomorrow too, just because some of their guards, having a bigger guard out there, will probably help.
well, we know somebody on our team will get in foul trouble early. I mean, that's a given. Down in Bloomington. I mean, they'll probably have a couple fouls when they step off the bus, but might have a couple fouls tonight. I don't know.
How about the fact that Kofi got 4 fouls pretty quickly, and then it took what felt like 30 minutes for him to pick up his 5th foul, even though he fouled like 3 or 4 times between the span of his foot.
They did not want to call the 5th foul.
Oh, they did not. Yeah, there's a couple times where they swallowed their whistle so badly, and the
really,
fact that it honestly surprised me that it was Jaden who drew it. I was like, they're gonna get it when Trey or Edie's backing him down, but then it was because when Ivy went up there and he started taking charge, I was like, oh no. But then I saw the replay and I was like, he was definitely moving. It's credit to Ivy for he kind of sidestepped him, and
smart of him to go after him, because pretty dumb of Kofi not just kind of get out of the way there, because you're more valuable not getting your 5th than you are taking a charge in that situation. So,
but I mean, Illinois did play well, especially in the first half when he went out. They played pretty well.
They did that against Nebraska when he got in foul trouble late down the stretch. I thought they were in trouble, and they played well without him, and it stretched the lead.
What's his face? He had like 3 names. 30% their shooter made 2 of 2 at the start.
Whatever,
I was like, come on.
Yeah.
Because I think when
missed 2 big time down the stretch.
He did, but the first 2 he made, when they showed the free throw percentage, I was like, this dude's cashing both of them. And he made the first one, I was like, he's definitely making this next one because he's got the confidence. But
never fails.
Oh,
never fails.
Yeah. Every time I watch a game, it's funny because when I watch, a game with my girlfriend, or whether it be an IU or Purdue game, whenever the commentators say like, "Oh, they're on an 11-2 run," she always goes, "Not anymore," because as soon as you say it, the run's gonna end.
It's just a jinx, a big time jinx.
Yeah.
But no, it was. And that's one thing. I'm glad the game didn't go into triple overtime, because I think Jaden Ivey would have fouled out. He was flirting with 4 fouls.
I didn't even know he had 4 fouls until they said that on the broadcast. I was like, "Oh my god, this is, if he fouls out, that's not good."
No, it wouldn't have been good at all. But
were you surprised? Were you surprised that as much as Trey was struggling, how much Painter stuck with him down the stretch?
Not really, because he likes his seniors down the stretch. He goes to veterans. And I know that drives a lot of our fan base nuts, even at times with Eric Hunter, but he wants to rely on the guys who have been through the battles. And Trey wasn't making stuff around the rim, but he's still our best passer on the team. I mean, look at the 2 passes he made with Eric Hunter cutting. I mean, those are
same
huge.
Play.
Yeah. So,
and he's a good rebounder. I was like, because even I was one that was like texting you and Andrew, which sadly Andrew couldn't make it with us tonight. But I was like, why the hell is Trey still in the game? Because he was just missing so many bunnies. You could tell he was trying to force it, but it was definitely. I mean, I'm glad he did, because he made, like I said, Trey made some amazing passes down the stretch.
There's a reason Matt makes millions of dollars coaching basketball, and we're sitting here
doing a podcast.
I will say I trust Edie a lot more from the line than I do Trey, even though Trey's got better this year. But
he's gotten better. He's still not great.
No.
But yeah, I mean, Edie. I think Edie only shot. He was 2 of 2. Yeah. So Trey, Edie, and Eric were 8 of 8 from the free throw line.
I couldn't believe yesterday when I checked the box score that Mason Gillis played the most minutes with 43.
I did not even know that until you just said that. So holy crap!
Yep.
Wow.
That guy, I'm telling you, he might be my favorite player. I know he didn't do a lot of scoring, but he gets away with a lot of fouls. He's so physical out there.
Oh,
he just throws his body around and
he's one of those guys that you look at because he's a dog. Like he's gonna bring that attitude that I think desperately needed 2 years ago when he was sitting on the bench. Where I know it was a lot of times referred to, we got a lot of good kids, these are all great guys, but there's just, Trey was a sophomore, Sasha was a sophomore, Hunter was a sophomore.
Boudreaux was the dog of that team.
Yeah, which is saying something. I mean, love Evan. I loved him. Yes. He was a hustle guy, but it was just like, Mason's just one of those guys that, he's built like a brick, like a Mack truck down there, and it's like he's probably got like 2 ounces of body fat on there, and he's just a physical dude, and he's a great rebounder. Let me see how many rebounds he had. He had 3 rebounds, 1 offensive. So he was 4. Sorry,
always in there for loose balls. I mean, he's 6'8" and he plays at times like he's 6'10". I mean, he will get his tomorrow from the Crimson Guard or whatever they call themselves.
Oh yeah,
he will get it due to his DUI from the offseason, but that's all right. Yeah. We've seen it before.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of one of those things. It's like you have to live with the consequences of the actions you made. Absolutely. So it's like, I'm sure Painter's talked to him. I'm sure he knows that he's gonna. If he didn't hear it on Monday, he's definitely gonna hear it this Thursday.
It's part of the rivalry. I mean, we've heard Kenny Loeb be called names. We've Matt Harms big time. We've called Coverdale alcoholic. I mean, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
So DJ Bird got called Jailbird. So. Yeah. It goes both.
It's pretty clever. I will say that. It's a pretty clever
one. It goes both ways. Thad Mooney with comment here. He said, offensive with quotations, foul for Jaden's 3rd or 4th. Getting juked out of your shoes on a spin move isn't a foul. Got to think Trey's basketball IQ versus Zach when it's in crunch time. The Toronto Terror. I like that. He's still young in basketball game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't know, Zach has he used to play baseball and hockey.
I didn't know that. I should probably drink because I heard that in the game. No, I think he's talking about Jaden when he pushed off on Frazier, where Frazier sold. I mean, he sold it. I mean, credit to Frazier.
Veteran move.
He's been in the Big Ten for 15 years. I think he was there when we were in school. Obviously it was crappy on our end, but he sold it perfectly, and we'll probably see some of that tomorrow too. I've seen Xavier Johnson do that quite a bit to some guys where he sells it because he's been playing for a while. But that was definitely one of those things where it was like, that was not even close. But
and speaking of Frazier, it's amazing, like him and Davidson, these guys who got the extra COVID year, they're keeping their teams in the Big Ten race. Without those guys, they wouldn't be right there in the mix.
Yeah, Wisconsin would probably be. I mean, they got Johnny Davis, who's just an absolute stud, as we unfortunately found out very quickly. Yeah. But I don't think they'd be nearly. I think they'd definitely be a middle of the pack team, if not lower. And then who knows where Illinois would be without a guy like Frazier.
And Frazier and Williams. Williams back too. I mean, both of them. So that's why going into this year, I thought they were losing both of them. Iowa was going pro. I thought Kofi was going pro or possibly transferred. I was looking forward to them being a bottom dweller in the Big Ten, but which they might next year might be rough for Illinois.
Yep. Well, then when the game, and I was really surprised. I haven't watched a lot of Illinois basketball this year, but when Luke Goody came in off the bench, he was one of the first guys off the bench. I don't know if he normally does that or not. I haven't not paid attention. I meant to ask our buddy, but I didn't. But he comes in. Indiana kid didn't get offered by Purdue in the end. We all kind of thought he might. He's really good friends with teammates with Fletcher Lawyer, who's coming in next year. He hits a 3. I'm like, this is one of those games where this kid's going to go off, and for a reason, because we didn't offer him. He's going to have one of those games like you see all the time, but he didn't play much really. I mean, he had a couple. I think he had 1 or 2 shots go in, and then that's really all he did, and didn't really play.
And then you had, I think his last name's Pang. He barely played after he elbowed Sasha in the head.
Yeah.
So which he's dirty.
Seen some people talk about this online, which I think is true. Which I agree with, is if you commit a flagrant foul like that, where you are like just a BS like non-basketball play, throwing an elbow in someone's face, and their teammate comes to back them up, they should not get a technical foul. That's so bull crap.
Yeah.
But I get why they do it, but it's just like, what's he supposed to do? Just let his teammate just get, their ass kicked or something? But
pick on a guy your own size,
right?
But that was a huge part of the first half. I mean, that flipped momentum right there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was. Actually, we went on a huge run after that, and
I
kind of took
think
them out of it.
think what made me so encouraged was there was times we got down, places rocking, and we just never quit. We kept fighting. We
Right.
fought through the adversity, fought through the hostile environment. Because I know tomorrow, even if we get up 10, IU's got to make a run.
Oh yeah.
Or if they get a lead by 7, 8, 9, 10,
Yeah,
can we? Place gonna be
yeah.
rocking. Can we catch up? Because it's not going to be like Purdue comes out, puts pedal to the metal, and just kills them the whole game. I
Yeah.
mean, I hope I'm surprised. I hope
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like when they were number one in the country and visited Mackey years ago and
Beat us
took
by
us to the
30.
woodshed. I
Yeah.
hope it's like that, but I've never seen that at Assembly Hall. Even when we go down there and get wins, if we do pull away, we don't pull away till the last 4 minutes or so.
Yeah, and I was kind of going back and looking at some of the previous scores because of how bad they've been as of late, or just not making the tournament. Last year was like a 12-point win, but it wasn't. It was definitely one where you kind of pulled away at the very last, kind of like what you said. The year we went to the Elite Eight, we won by 2 because of the Matt Harms tipping, which was an awful offensive game. Like
Such
40,
an ugly game.
Yeah, like couldn't even get to 50. Either
Carson
team
was
could.
terrible. That
Carson
game.
was like 0 from 3. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean they had Romeo who didn't do anything either game. He played Purdue that year. Even like the years
Klein hit a big 3 that game too. That bounced up.
That's
on
right.
the front of the rim and went in.
That's right. Yeah, because I think I remember that specifically because I remember when he shot that, I was like, if this doesnting go in, Purdue is losing this game, and it went in. Thank God. But even like Crean's first year when they were just putting together whoever they could pull, it was like a 2. I think it was like a 2-point win or something.
That's when we were number 3
yeah.
in the country.
Yeah, it was like a Verdell Jones half court heave would have tied it had he made it, and it was just like it's never going to be easy. The year Bob Knight came to town, I thought for sure like that's probably where I equate that most of this year's how I'm feeling is just like they got everything going for him. It was a Saturday game. It's Bob Knight's coming to town for the first time since 2000 or since he left. Is like, oh man, it's all coming up crimson and cream. But then we Evan Boudreaux's dunking the ball while the fans file out of the stadium. So I kind of hope something like that happens tomorrow where
it's not a rivalry, it's a mismatch. I tell.
Hope it's the same tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hope.
Yeah. What? And I know you just listed off a lot of them, but what's your favorite Purdue IU rivalry memory? I know there's a lot of good ones.
There's a lot, yeah. Because I feel like I forget a lot. Sure. I feel like I remember the bad ones more than I remember the good ones. Probably the 2 I think about when I think about favorite Purdue memories against Indiana. I think the one thing about the most would be 2017 winning the title, the Big Ten title, because it was like for me, I'd never seen us, seeing us be able to win a Big Ten title in person. Before I'd seen us, it was always usually an away game or not being able to go to a game, and then be able to do it against Indiana was awesome. Even though they weren't very good that year, those Creans last year.
Dakota went off that game.
He did. I think one that I think about, and it's really one I remember. Probably one of my first memories was 2003, I think 2003, 2004. I just remember, I know I've talked about this on previous podcasts we've talked about, but I was sick. I don't know how much, at least I felt, I remember I was probably not as sick as I probably thought I was, but my mom really didn't want me to go to the game, but I somehow convinced her, my dad convinced her, I don't know, but I went to the game. Kenny Lowe and Willie Dean both go off for 17. I don't know why I remember that they were both on for 17. I can't remember which year it was. I just remember, seeing Kenny Lowe.
03.
03. Yeah, I was I just remember being up near the top with my dad. Just one of my first vivid memories of Mackey, just and how loud it could be.
Yeah, I'm looking up what the score of that game was because I remember being there too.
Yeah.
I think that was my second IU Purdue game, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And then I think of one that my junior year of college, your senior year,
my birthday.
On your birthday, yeah. In the big, neither team went to the tournament. This is the year no Indiana team went to the tournament, but the Sterling Carter game, at home. I mean, that was cool because being a student and being able to, the previous 2 years, my freshman year with Robbie, we lost it. I think we lost at home to Indiana because that's when
we
was
did.
a freshman, and then sophomore year was the 30-point drubbing. That was awful. So being able to see Purdue beat IU as a student was awesome. It was just an exciting game. I think about that. I don't think about as much as because of I think about the season as a whole and how crappy that was to not make the tournament again for the second straight year. But probably the Big Ten tourney one, and just like I said, that's been our first Big Ten title since 2009. and just knowing where we came from a couple years prior of getting last in the Big Ten before, Vince, Isaac, Dakota, PJ all came in. So that one kind of holds a special place just because it was being able to be there.
The 03 one was January 25th, 03. Purdue won 69-47.
Okay, so I thought I remember it was kind of a blowout. I think we were ranked. Were we ranked that game?
It doesn't. No, it doesn't show that we were ranked.
Okay.
I think Indiana was.
But that was the year.
I think they were ranked 15th, maybe.
So that was the year coming off their Final Four national championship appearance.
One of my favorites was I gotta find it now. On my birthday, February 15th, 2007. The game was supposed to be the night before on Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Got rescheduled because we got a lot of snow. And Landry and Teague went nuts, and we won 81-68. Chris Kramer and DJ White got into it.
Yeah, it's on the Mackey intro video, yeah. And then, I think about, us going into Bloomington and winning. Like I said, that Carson Harms game, the Elite Eight year was awesome. Obviously,
because growing up for a while, you and I, we didn't see a win down in Bloomington because like earlier in that year in 07, for instance, the month prior, January 10th, they beat us 85-58 down there.
Oh my God.
And then we turned around a month later and beat them.
Yeah. That's kind of how we grew up. It was like a lot of it's, you split or they were winning both. It was kind of
2010, when we won, you mentioned this earlier, we were number 8 in country. My bad. I thought we were like number 3. We won 78-75. That was the first win in Bloomington I could remember.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Because before that, you got to go back to 99.
Yeah. And that would mean I've been 6 going on 7 years old. I don't remember those. So, it doesn't happen very often. So the fact that this is kind of, kids growing up nowadays, it's the norm. I work here in Indy, and I've got some, reps that I kind of oversee a little bit. And 2 of them, both of them went to IU, and one of them just graduated. And he's got a brother who goes to Purdue, so it's definitely one of those Purdue IU families. His mom went to Purdue, but he and his other brothers went to IU. But he's like, yeah, I went through 4 years at IU and never saw us beat Purdue or make the tournament. And it's just like, it's crazy that they've got students who, and it kind of makes me think back to, when we were in school and the struggles we had with football and basketball and how that probably turned a lot of kids off to being lifelong. Maybe the recent years have picked them back up, but I'll talk to him nowadays, after IU beats Ohio State and he didn't even watch the game or something like that. It's like, 4 years of just sucking can really put a damper on, and you hate to see it. But
I just looked up. I didn't realize this. We've won 7 of our last 10 trips down to Bloomington.
That's just absurd.
No, it's
like, it's going to come in at some point. Obviously they're playing a lot better with Woodson, but let's say, let's hope it's next year. Let's just push it down the road one more year. There's always next year.
It's been a fun streak since February 20th. 2016, and let's just keep it going here for 2 more games this year. But Thad Mooney has a comment here. He is predicting a 30-20 game out of Trey.
Ooh, I'd love a bounce back Trey game. If he
has 30-20, Purdue's not losing this game.
Yeah, because I'd like to, obviously, since the Wisconsin game, which I hope that's just my biggest worry. The guys, I don't want them to lose their edge because they've been different since the Wisconsin game. We saw it against Penn State. We obviously saw it against Illinois. Saw it against Nebraska, which is a different game. But they've been better on the defensive end. They've been more aggressive, it felt like, and I hope Edey is aggressive going at the rim. But I'm always also afraid of him being aggressive because he's going to get a foul. He's going to get a cheap foul. Someone's going to flop, probably Galloway or someone stupid down there. But just got to be smart. Thankfully, we have the depth. They've got a 7-footer, Durr. I think he's a transfer from South Florida. He's obviously got the. He usually comes in and spells Trace for the 3 minutes that Trace doesn't play.
I was gonna say I never see him sit unless he's in foul trouble.
The one worry I do have, because Trace is, he bruised his tailbone. Mm-hmm. He got fouled going for it. It wasn't really an aggressive foul, because I was watching the game with my girlfriend. But it was I kind of almost think part of it was his fault because them in Nebraska were getting really chippy. Trace had already been called for a tech because he dunked it and screamed in the guy's face, a la AJ Hammonds in 2016. So I was like, karma. Which even AJ didn't even scream in someone's face; he just screamed. Where Trace actually got up in the dude's face and screamed and got a tech. but it felt like the dunk he was going for was very like an emphatic, like I'm shoving this down your throat, and he kind of came down awkwardly because of it. So it's like maybe the emotion got a too much from. I don't know. That's just kind of what I was thinking watching the game. But he didn't play the last couple minutes because he also had 4 fouls, which I was like, the world's ending if Tristan Davis has 4 fouls because he's the most protected player in the Big Ten. But they brought in Jordan Geronimo, who's sophomore and very athletic. He doesn't play a ton, but he's super athletic. Probably a really good player, and he was really good. But also, it's also Nebraska, and Nebraska wasn't doing anything to really give Mike Woodson a reason to bring Trace back into the game. I feel like every time Nebraska got some momentum, they would just throw it out of bounds or forget to dribble the basketball.
I don't know how Hoiberg isn't on the hot seat.
They ran out Tim Miles, and the nicest guy in the Big Ten.
They went after that Chicago Bulls coach.
If they should have known track record, it wasn't going to work out for him.
Hey, Tibbs is doing just fine in New York.
Yeah.
He's a little different, though.
Yeah.
But, no, I'm looking forward to I'm just ready for the game to be here. I'm tired of...
Ready for it to be over, right? Because just like, I've been so anxious since the end of that Illinois game. I'm just like, God, I just want the game to be over. Obviously, I want us to win, because I know I'll be pissed off if we lose, but I'm like, at least we have a game on Sunday, so it's like a quick turnaround.
Do you like when we play down in Bloomington first in the series every year?
I do.
Yeah, I do too.
I do, because my thought is, okay, I feel way more comfortable at Mackey. We get the second one, I don't have to hear about it all offseason about how they got the last victory, and they'll pull the whole how many days since Purdue beat Indiana. We can have that all off season. But I'd much rather every time the season schedule comes out, obviously I look at when the first home game is, and who are we playing, home and away and everything. But I always, okay, are we playing IU first or at Purdue first? I'd much rather, because for a while I felt like we were always playing at Purdue first, which I agree. Nervous. But yeah, I feel like I'm way more at ease when we play at home second. Because obviously last week just been because we went. Okay, if we can beat them in Indiana, then we can obviously beat them at Mackey. Even though the last couple of games at Mackey have been close games, not great games, but
we've played them a lot in March at Mackey lately.
We had.
This would be the third different senior day out of last.
I feel like it was always like we play them in January, then like
January, February,
right around your birthday was always when it seemed to happen.
Yep.
But yeah, I'd much rather play at Mackey.
I agree.
Second, so
I agree. Score predictions. Let's do it. Let's throw it out there. Well, let's share Andrew's first.
Yep.
Andrew said, now I got to find it. I know he had Purdue winning by 9. 84-75 Boilers. Andrew's prediction.
I think some of the just looking at the message board, I think some of like the Haslametrics and the Ken Palm, they always have score predictions. Which Ken Palm, I don't know what that dude does, but his algorithms are pretty spot. It's crazy how sometimes how spot on his one. I think he had like our game against Nebraska, he almost had the score right. I know he had our Penn State game, he had that exactly right. But it's crazy. I think they had like Purdue winning by like between 2 and 4, which I can't handle that. But I mean, I think it came out worth 3.5 point favorites. I think it's what ESPN has us. Obviously, I don't feel good, and I always feel like this is the year that they're going to get us, and it's just going to happen eventually. But obviously, I'm still picking Purdue. I think in like 74-68.
I'm gonna go Boilers 82-70.
It's a double point digit. Like we can get a double digit win. Like
we pull away with some free throws.
Yeah, give me like let the last like 2 minutes be. Let me breathe the last 2 minutes and take a lap around my living room a couple times while my girlfriend.
Screw it. We beat them by 40 and Chase Martin gets in the game. No, I would love that, but no, that's not going to happen. No, it's
We got our friend Adam Bartels, who just had an awesome podcast come out with Aiden O'Connell.
Must listen.
Yeah, I listened to it on my way home. I was driving home from Evansville earlier today. I had to drive through Bloomington. Might have given some gestures as I went through. We'll never know. I was on in my car. Great podcast. Check it out. I mean, it was a 20-minute interview. It was great. Some really good insight. We had some questions that he was gracious enough to ask Aiden. Super likable guy. Very glad he's at Purdue and our quarterback.
Yeah, he's turning one of my favorite Boilers of all time.
Yeah, super chill guy. But he predicts 81-73 Boilers.
I'll take it. I don't care, even if it is a heart-stopping 1-point victory. I'll take it. One thing about Aiden I want to say real quick for people who are intrigued to listen. I think you'll be surprised who he grew up rooting for.
We'll tease it
college
for you.
sports.
We'll
Yeah,
tease it for you.
yeah,
And
that
basketball
was really
too.
cool.
That was yeah.
Yeah, that was a really
It's
cool
not the same school for football
backstory.
and basketball, so
Nope, but I will spoil it and say he's not irreversible. So
yeah, there you
it
go.
wasn't irreversible, I should say, because we know he's not now. But um, yeah, but yeah, Webby, you stopped in at Mad Mush to watch the game Monday, like you said, and I'm disappointed that you didn't get their pizza of the month.
Listen, okay, it was middle of work day. I still had to work afterwards.
That's fair. That's fair.
I could not eat a whole pizza
Could have
by
boxed it up
myself.
and taken it home.
I mean, so they had a pretty good deal of like I asked if they sold by the slice. 'Cause I haven't been in my mush in quite a while. I wanted the cheese sticks, but I know if I got a full thing of cheese sticks, I would have succumbed and probably passed out in my seat. So they asked if they sold by the slice, and they did. They had awesome deals, like 2 slices and a drink for like less than $7. It was great. I could barely eat my second slice because I was just so nervous the entire game.
Sure,
I can't eat. But yeah, it was great. Staff was awesome. They put the game on for me, put the sound on. It was, I said there were some students and some, I saw a dad and his daughter, because the students didn't have class yesterday or that day. They were coming in and watching the game as well. So hope I didn't scare them away from some dude in the suit just sitting there by himself, silently fist bumping.
Well, if you're not wanting to cook tomorrow night, you just want to get some good food. Mad Mush always has great deals right now. Their January pizza of the month is the Killer Bees. That's their barbecue sauce topped with chicken, bacon, banana peppers, and mozzarella cheese. Finished with a ranch swirl and served with a side of ranch. That's my dog in the background saying that sounds good to him. If you order $20 or more online or in person, tell them the Boiler Breakdown sent you. If you're ordering online, of course, use discount code BREAK5. That's all caps BREAK 5 to get $5 off your order over $20. Mad Mush has been serving Boilermakers since 1993, located in the heart of West Lafayette. And of course, they're known as the home of the original cheese sticks. I recommend getting bacon on those if you get those, and get some nacho cheese sauce to dip them in, or ranch. I mean, ranch, you can never have enough ranch.
I disagree, but let's move on.
So make sure, whether it's in person or online at madmushroom.com, that you feed your head. Webby's got a shirt on from the shop.
Super comfy. Fits awesome. Makes you look good.
And if somebody does, of course, if you order it online tomorrow, you're not going to get it in time for the game. But
do I have in time for the game? Whatever, like March 5th, I think, when I returns to Mackey.
Get it. Yes, good memory.
You can visit theshopany.com. Use promo code breakdown for 25% off. That's 25. Listen to a lot of podcasts out there. Some you see a lot of like clothing brands. They'll give 10, 15, maybe even 20. But the shop is different. They were super generous. They want to give you 25% off. If you go in, they also have 2. If you're in the Indy area and you want to pick up a shirt before the game tomorrow,
that's what. That's what.
Whether you're going to the game, if you live in the Indy area and you're going, or if you're driving through Indy on your way down to Bloomington, you know Bloomington when you smell it. But if you want to stop in their stores, they've got one in Carmel, one in Broad Ripple. But they've got them. They're very savvy with their marketing. They've got the Purdue and I used to front and center right now. They always kind of move stuff around depending on the time of year. They've got some awesome Indy 500 stuff around May, even all throughout the year. But right now they've got their Purdue and Indiana stuff front and center. So go pick up a shirt. Super, super soft. Looks great.
Got some great Pacer gear, so you can cheer on the Pacers on their way to a top 5 pick. That's what I'm hoping for.
Top 10 pick for the first time since 1990.
Yeah, it's pathetic. They're the only team in the league. It's unbelievable. This is the year. Let's suck. Let's tank, and let's get somebody in. Jay Nivey.
I'm a Bulls fan, and
take over the franchise.
My girlfriend asked me, she goes, "Will you die if Jay Nivey gets picked by the Bulls?" Well, for one, they're not going to be a top 10 pick because the Bulls are awesome. Except for right now, they're sucking right now. It's the what's Patrick Mahomes' brother's name? Is it Jackson?
Jackson. Oh my
he was seen wearing a Bulls retro shirt, and they haven't won since that.
It's a curse.
It's a curse. So screw that kid.
He's the worst
for multiple reasons.
He is the worst.
But I was like, I'd love to have Jaden on the Bulls, but I'm like,
he and Io are too similar.
They are. And then you've got guys like DeRozan and Zach LaVine, who is probably my favorite player in the NBA right now. But I was like, I'd almost rather him go to the Pacers just because it would give me more opportunities just to go see him play.
That's a good point.
So
I want them to go to the Sonics, but that would require the NBA to bring the Sonics back.
This is the year.
Oh man, I'm ready. I'm ready. Give me some Gary Payton and Sean Kemp swag and Detlef Schrempf. Yeah, I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to rock. Boiler Breakdown's also brought to you by Webb's Family Pharmacy. So whether you need a flu shot, a COVID-19 shot, inhaler if you're nervous during the game tomorrow, can't breathe during the game tomorrow. That Webb's Family Pharmacy is an independently owned community pharmacy with stores located in Rochester, Akron, and North Manchester, Indiana. Like I said, if you need a vaccine, you can simply get an appointment online or give their friendly and caring staff a call. They can help you with any of your high quality medical equipment needs, supplies, and pharmacy services. Check them out at www.webrx.com. Webb's Family Pharmacy, professional pharmacy with a hometown touch. And the last sponsor of the Boiler Breakdown is Sroufe Landscaping Nurseries, also a company that's boiler owned and operated. Sroufe Landscaping Nurseries has been in business for over 50 years and can handle all of your landscaping needs, including landscape design, maintenance, irrigation, hardscaping, cleanup, and their licensed lawn applicators. Contact them today for all of your landscaping needs at 574-223-2769. Sroufe Landscaping, design with you in mind. Final thoughts there, Web Dog.
Just win. I mean, I know, like I obviously I prefer the comfortable, going away victories, but if we can leave Bloomington with a win, it's always a great day. We've had their number. Their student sections are going all out, and they say they don't care about Purdue, but they're going all out tomorrow, and they're dressing up in suits because apparently IU doesn't lose if Mike Whitson wears a suit and/or suit jacket.
I think they are undefeated when he does that, and then
they are.
Why didn't he wear it all every game? Then that's stupid.
Right? Yeah, and also lost in the fact is that most of the games he's worn a suit. They've been playing like Alcorn State or Sister Jean's School of the Blind.
Yeah.
But whatever. So I hope they're gonna look good. It's clever. I like it. I love when student sections can get organized and do stuff like that. We know the paint crew is top notch when it comes to doing things like that. And
Maryland used to like to wear suits for Turgeon.
Yeah.
Can't anymore.
RIP. But just win. That's all I don't care how we do it, how it happens. As long as Purdue has more points than the Hoosiers at the end of the game, that's really, I don't care if I'm passed out on the floor from nerves. As long as Purdue wins, that's all that matters.
As long as they're ahead when the buzzer goes off for the final score.
Yep.
That's all that matters. So let's boiler up, hammer down, and beat the Hoosiers down at Mackey South.
POTFH.